The video is about lifestyles in the past, and we will mention 6 categories. In terms of transportation, people had one car per family, and the most luxurious new were motorcycles. There was no large bus to transport many people. There were taxis to take passengers to their destinations. In general, due to the economy, there were no means of transport, so people walked, cycled, or had animals such as horses and donkeys that they used with a cart to transport themselves.
Here we are going to talk about what music was like before. The most popular music at the time were ballads, those that were slow and romantic lyrics and the occasional bombshell. Many singers expressed their feeling throughout the lyrics. They gave a lot of respect to women, many were focused on couple. Like any aspect, there was music of variety. Some were romantic and slow, others were fun with a touch of pop, and others were more moving like rock. Covering the Spanish-speaking side of the most popular singers at the time to date we have Luis Miguel, or groups like Mecano. And covering the American side, there were bands such as Queen or soloists such as Michael Jackson. All three in different musical and world sides but the same success, so much so that they are considered an essential part when playing a musical them.
Well, we'll continue with the technology section from the 50s to the 70s. At that time, technology was not an essential part of people's lives. Science inventions were hardly ever born that, little by little, were revolutioning people's lives. Innovations such as the telephone and telegraph already exist and they facilitate communication and work in ways that had never been imagined. Which leads us to ask ourselves, who did my grandparents live? In the 50s, television barely reached Mexico, and was not until the 70s that it became more common. The programming of television channels was published in the newspapers. It was uncommon to have a telephone at home in those years. That is why cities had phone booths. There were long lines to make calls.
Now let's talk about nutrition and how they were eating in the past. People consumed more fruits and vegetables or animal-based foods. They didn't have that much accessibility to eat certain foods that were expensive.
Now we will talk about sports because it is an important area in the lives of many people. Sports is a physical activity carried out by a person or group following certain rules and within a specific physical space. It is generally associated with formal competences and serves to improve physical and mental health. There is evidence that indicates that the origin of classic sports dates back to 4000 before Christ approximately. Sports in the older times were different, which I will say two areas of how they were. This was more competitive in all types of sports. In fact, in parts, someone winning you was a humiliation for oneself or for the team. Sports were harder or tougher, even if something happened. It was always the game. It was not to fight among them, but to improve.
Entertainment. The programs with for the whole family and therefore healthy games we broadcast to watch from home. Not having advanced technology, they played with it lottery, marbles, and other time games were invented. Adults watch sport on television or live. Airplane and drinks were a sensation among CNC It was played and the winner kept the cups. Finally, I want to mention the reading for some years was their what on entertained, while others had fun playing mommy with kitchen toys. Thank you for your attention and allowing with some share a life still of before.